And we are back in game. Apologies for the pauses, but obviously, as we said, take the top tower, then they rotated off Pide. I believe we didn't get any other action after that.
No, we didn't guess the right either what happened here, but if we just look a little bit how the game is looking in the whole right now, because 8-1 in kills, that's a big lead, but that doesn't always mean that they have a gold lead. But in this game, we have a 4,000 gold lead right now to DMG, and they're on the soul point. So there's so many outs for DMG right now. And the question is, which one is the Lion Creed going to try to stop first? Is it the Dragon one? That's a bit of an emergency, or are they going to let it go to the Elder Drake like they did in the last game?
Yeah, I guess it depends how much you value Chemtech Soul, right? Obviously, it can definitely be strong. I don't think it's as weak as it kind of was at some points in the game, but I also don't think it's the most necessary to fight over. So I am wondering if Lion's Creed, maybe say, you know what, actually, but maybe we just give this one up. Which would you rather, though? Are you thinking Elder Drake spawn or maybe fight for soul?
Yeah, I think I would give the soul, because just as you mentioned, it's not the strongest soul to have, and the impact, it's not as big as the other souls, but getting the chance to get your hands on the Elder Drake when you're behind, that's a game changer. We saw that last game, so leave this Dragon, maybe threat with some Baron just to split them up, then you can get a pick from that, but Elder Drake I think should be the goal right now for Lion's Creed.
I guess my only caveat is, are Lion's Creed going to be strong enough when that Elder Drake spawns, because obviously if DMG keep their tempo, if they keep themselves really far ahead, then it doesn't really matter for them too much because they should win that dragon fight. However, if Lion's Creed can manage to get to those 3 items, can manage to get that extra little bit of gold that they need to bring themselves back into the game, then yes, I think for sure it's worth having it on the table.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see how they think, but all we can try to do is give them the streamer curse that we always see. I'm just, once again, we talked about it in this game, that all the kills from DMG got on the right champions here. We could say Vi in the jungle, Taxwig haven't got any kill but 5 assists. Meanwhile, their mid laner and their AD carry, they pretty fed at this point.
And I gotta ask, is a secret Baron play potentially on the cards for Lion's Creed? Maybe a little sneaky Baron, maybe?
They have the wards for it, so it's not impossible. But then we also have to wait until we see DMG move at least 3-4 people down to the Dragon and then be really quick on it just to get the Baron started. Because I think they have the damage to take it quick, but they have to be really quick before DMG gets there.
Yeah, wards are being placed around there. Theodore doing due diligence on that Baron. I like it a lot coming in from DMG. I will say I'm quite impressed with DMG. Overall, I feel like they played this early game really well. They've been consistent, but it does only take one fight for Lion's Creed to get back into it, and it does look like they are working their way towards this Baron. I wonder if they're maybe looking for a pick here or potentially just looking to trade Dragon for the Baron. 9 seconds on the clock before the Dragon Soul point will come up. And Lion's Creed, they're waiting in this bush, but it's going to be a 4 versus 4 if they wait a little bit longer. Maybe even a 4 versus 5 if we do see Zero moving up.
We see that Bust is on its way, Zero is close by. But I don't know if you're going to have a fight in the mid lane for either of these teams. And we can see DMG is going to go for the Soul here, not with all the players, just the AD carry and their jungler. Meanwhile, Lion Creed is going to start his Baron.
They are going to start the Baron, and it is 3 members walking over, but as you said, no ADC, no jungler. It does make this fight a little bit easier, more difficult, and they are going to get the Baron. Nice take from Lion's Creed. They picked that one up, and now if they can just walk away, it's absolutely massive. Yes, Soul has gone over, but the Baron, the stalling potential, and the gold Pide is huge.
Yeah, and they're going to do, as we say, you're going to let the Soul go over, and they actually get the Barons. Now they have the thing to help them survive the Soul until we get to the Elder Drake. And as you mentioned, the gold from a Baron is massive. Like, they're gonna come back into the game. So now it's very much more interesting to see what's gonna happen at the Elder Drake.
Now, we do talk about Callistas, like, not having their same potential, but we have Lethality Callista. Are you a big fan of the new Lethality Callista situation?
I would have to say no, because I actually haven't seen too much from it.
Oh, okay.
We're a little bit behind here.
Wait, hold on one second. It's right now. QQI is in major trouble here. Going to be hit with a cease and desist. Going to be caught out and is going to be taken down. Tries to flash away, but will not get out. And Zeta potentially going to be the next on the chopping block. A big pick coming in from the side of DMG. But Lion's Creed, however, have started to utilize this to get pressure on the side lanes. We are seeing towers being taken and maybe even getting mid tower too if they can push fast enough.
And this is how they should play around it right now, because we have Lion Creed, they got the Baron buff, they know they can't really push against them, but if they be aggressive, go into the jungles of the enemy, get these picks, well, then they can look for team fights.
Ooh, Spark gonna flash away. Rutsu looking for the ADC, but not able to get it. And now the team fight is ensuing, but Spark might be caught out. Zero, however, is really low, gonna be taken down. And here comes the hero's entrance. Spark trying to kite away from this fight, getting peeled nicely with Porp. And we are gonna see Theodore locked down, but do they have the damage? The top laner is starting to fall as we see Bust absolutely causing mayhem in the backline of DMG. And this could be it, Pide. This could be Lions Creed's moment. This is what we're waiting for. They dismantle DMG.
The top laners have joined the fight, and now we see the real team fights coming out. We talk about it. Bust, yeah, early game didn't do too much, didn't see him do anything fancy, but now once we hit the mid game, we're going into the team fights, we see him 1v2, get the kill, get out. But I really want to highlight Pop here, how he saved Spark in that team fight, because Spark was solo against Taxvig, but since Pop come in there, they survive and they turn this team fight into their own benefits.
I was feeling doom and gloom. I'm not gonna lie. I was worried. I thought we were against the wall. Lions Creed weren't looking too good, but they managed to pick it up in a team fight. As you said, the top laners joined the fight. Bust absolutely eviscerating through targets, making it so difficult for them to get into the fight. And then when we do talk about the backline for Spark, yeah, as you said, Porp just able to do so much, giving that space to the Jinx, who is very, very strong at the moment.
Yeah, and just getting stronger and stronger right now. It's 2 items out, still an item behind, but Lethality Audience is a bit cheaper. But I don't know, Pop played last game really good, and this game so far, he doesn't have the most assists or kills, but so crucial. Zero is moving forward, looking for the potential play, but going to be forced straight back out of this one. Going to be locked down and may even die here. This could be a moment for Lions Creed. They're going to take 2 down here. Rutsu will fall, and they might even look for more. The Baron is still there. Bust is moving forward. Lions Creed might go for the end here. Tower is taking a lot of damage. That's 1 already gone. Theodore looking to get into the backline here, but DMG, do they have the power? Do they have the option? Taxu is going to be locked down, and that's another kill. Lions Creed could go all the way. DMG don't have it. They played early game well, but they could not stop Lions Creed. I don't know what to say. The game was so even for so long, but all of a sudden we have one team fight leading to a second team fight, and somewhere there Lions Creed said, wait guys, we're 5 versus 3. Just finish the game.
I saw it happen. T1, I believe it was T1 versus FlyQuest, where the game just ended, right? The game just ended, okay? It was insane. Admittedly, that was 17 minutes. That was a totally different situation, right? They were super far ahead. This game, though, one mistake. I said it could only be one team fight, and it could be over for DMG, and that is exactly what happened. Lions Creed, they snatch up that taste of victory, and they never let it go, and it's exactly what I talked about, right? This team is so good in the mid game, so good in the late game. If they get any advantage, they will take it. They will run all the way to the hills, and that is exactly what we saw. So I'm a very happy man. It's 2-0. All I'm going to say is we're going to a break. It's coming home. We are back ready for our final game of the day, and I'm no longer stressed. I'm chilled out. My team's 2-0. You know, they've done their thing. The Lions Creed have made their move. DMG, they couldn't fend off one line, but can they fend off the second? It's your time to get a little bit stressed now because we have Leo coming back to take on DMG. And obviously, you got to see DMG now. How are you feeling moving towards this team for Leo?
I'm a little bit nervous, not gonna lie, because DMG showed a really good early game. They played it correctly. They just played it really aggressive, but not too aggressive. It was more like we talked about now in the break, that the game just ended faster than we expected. But up to that point, DMG showed some really good sides. And Leo, they showed some good sides and some weak sides when they played the last game. And I think DMG's good sides are just a counter to where Leo missing out right now. But on the other hand, you know, Sweden, Leo, they've surprised me so many times before. And I know once they get this team going together, they're a force to be reckoned with.
And I do think there's also the thought process of well, it's like, okay, yeah, DMG played early game against Lions Creed, but are they going to necessarily choose to go early game again? Because obviously didn't work out for them fully in that last game. Maybe they're going to feel like, okay, actually, maybe we're going to go a little bit more later game. They may not play the same style every single time. So I am interested to see how they switch up. I do wonder if DMG stick to the style because, as I said, like I do think they did it really well. They were very, very close to winning. But then I also had that thought process of like, actually, there were some parts of Leo that I think could have really abused parts that happened with DMG, right? I think the top lane, as Bar said, he didn't play super aggressive. And actually, maybe when we switch it up and when we have Leo top lane now, who's going to be aggressive, maybe, just maybe, Bjorn is going to be able to eke those wins out and actually give a lot of pressure for the side of Leo against DMG in that result.
I don't think Leo's gonna stick with this whole wombo combo team comp. They want to fight as a team. And DMG, as said, this game they showed like they played against teams that go for the wombo combo before. So we don't know. Are they gonna stick to the plan as they just had for the early game, or are they gonna counter the team comp with the team comp of their own?
I'm looking forward to it. Like that's what I'm saying. I'm very interested to see it because I do feel like Lions Creed and Leo, although they have a lot of similarities, aren't necessarily the same team, right? I do think that Leo focused a lot more on that team fight, a lot more on that wombo combo, and I am interested to see how DMG also adapt to them because I'm actually really impressed with DMG so far, right? I think that they looked very solid. Their early game is probably one of the best that I've seen in the league at the moment, right? And that obviously can be pretty important coming into those games, especially those best of ones. If you can get that early lead, maybe you can just take those games. But I want to see if they can be super clinical and actually win out one of those games again.
Yeah, and I think just how they played their game, they had Tax in the jungle focusing on the bot side. And that's something we see a lot in Sweden. And I know that can mess everything up for the Swedish teams if you take away the bot side. And for their top laner, just holding out lane, farming, got into the team fights a little late. But I think this with the junglers focusing the bot side could be a problem for Leo here. Or it's going to be something they can use to their own advantage. So it's going to be a little bit of a coin flip around jungle and bot side.
Yeah, because I will say there were parts of the game where I felt like Taxfig was starting to lose out tempo a little bit because they spent so much time bot. So I do wonder if that's going to be a situation. Also, one thing I will say is that Lions Creed, right, they like to play a control mage mid. But if actually Leo are ready to play assassins, then maybe we get a very, very explosive mid lane, and maybe it's not the same kind of sanctity of peace in that mid stage, and actually DMG now have multiple fronts to contend with.
Yeah, and if they pick this control mage and we see another assassin coming out from DMG, the laning phase is going to be rough, and we could see that Zero last game he got 20 minions lead, and the roaming just started. The roam started over and over again, always looking for these fights and stop the objective. So I think Leo need to focus a lot on the mid lane to get him out of the game, because he's going to be a game changer.
Indeed. Pide, we're closing in on draft. Is there anything that you kind of want to see? Like, are we maybe missing anything in the meta in this tournament so far? Because we haven't seen lane swaps. I'll say that. I'm kind of happy about that, I'll be honest. I don't really necessarily want to see it. But we haven't seen lane swaps. We've seen a lot of priority on bans like Vi, a lot of picks in bans like Jinx. Is there anything else you feel like is kind of lurking in the shadows that we're maybe not seeing? Cassante, obviously, being a big one in the top side.
I have two champions that I've been thinking about. Number one, it's Rumble. We haven't
Okay.
seen him yet, and if we look at the MSI and the national leagues, we can see him being played all the time. The second one we've seen banned, and it's Talia. So I miss these AP champions that really can go in, hit 2-3 spells, and just destroy a team by themselves. I think they should be picked or banned this game.
And also Aurelion Soul, for that matter. And I know the DMG do play it as well. So we'll see if that does come up. We'll see if that does start lurking in the shadows. But here we go. Final game of the day. DMG versus Leo. The team that will be going 0-2 is to be decided right here, right now. Greg said they're going to be banned straight away. They saw what Bjorn did, and they don't want any of that.
No, Bjorn plays tons of Gagas, and he showed it in the last game that we saw with them. Just as you said, like, he played it really well. And DMG, they don't want to face that. They're just going to be, no, we're going to use one of our bans against that. Then we see Leo, a Swedish team, where we see a lot of pick or ban for Jinx almost all the time. So very comfortable for them so far. And the Ashe been banned all games so far that we casted today, right?
And I'm thinking, are DMG banning it because of the Kalista? Like, are they saying, actually, we want to keep running Kalista and therefore taking away the one? Maybe Ashe is just, in their minds, just too strong.
I missed out. The sound cut it a bit, but whatever you said, I'm on your
side.
Hopefully.
I said maybe
I
Poppy.
Something about Sweden.
I was talking about Kalista, but it doesn't matter anymore because Kalista's banned. So, so I was like, oh, maybe they banned the Ashe because of the Kalista. But, well, Leo said, hey, who cares, man? It's gone.
Yeah, and now the Jarvan ban coming out. So the respect towards Bjorn and Anton is really big here, because those two players in the first game that we casted, they almost carried the whole team by themselves. I'm not trying to say the rest of the team is bad, but they really shined through. So the respect is already there from DMG by banning them out already.
Yeah, and Skarner, respect. Respect to the Skarner ban. We are all happy about that one. No one, except for maybe Doctor, who's sitting at home watching it, wants that picked. And hopefully that doesn't get picked at all in the tournament. We've already seen Dakrek really not happy about it earlier. So, yeah, I feel like it's a worthwhile ban. Get the Scorpion out, you know. We've got no Captain Flowers here. It's no need to have it on the Rift, as we are going to see the first pick here, B1 for DMG. Do they go back to that early game? They're going to go for the Varus, so still definitely a lot of mid-game potential.
It sure is. And personally, Varus for me, I know the champion is strong. There's a lot of great players here in this tournament, but in the win rate from Varus, it's almost a coin flip. There's not like it wins 50-70% or have a higher win rate. It's usually every second game Varus pops off. Otherwise, we could see, all right, they've focused on bot lane. Varus is so far behind that he can't get back into the game.
Okay, not what I was expecting from Shao, I'll be honest. I was expecting, again, a lot of team fight potential here. Obviously, Ezreal can do well in the team fight, but obviously primarily picked if you're wanting to play away from your bot lane. So I'm interested to think if maybe they're like saying, okay, DMG looks like they like to play bot lane. Maybe we play towards solo lanes and win the game through that.
Yeah, if they're gonna lock in the Sin Sao, it's an indicator that they're gonna do a lot of ganking in the early game, trying to get this feed on. But I was thinking here with Ezreal, didn't expect it at all, but we saw last game they played, they lost with the Wombo combo. To then have an Ezreal doing damage from the side, I like it. Ivern confuses you?
Yeah, I'm not expecting Ivern. Like, it's very rare that I see Ivern. It's not that I expect it. The Olaf I get, right? The Olaf makes sense. We can move on from that. The Ivern, because also I have seen Ivern recently, but I saw Ivern mid. Now we are going to get the Rumble, by the way, that you talked about. So we're actually getting some AP damage.
Yeah, and I guess the Rumble in team fights is such a game changer. All the AoE damage coming in, and Rumble is a little bit, he does no damage, goes to reset, buys one item, and just destroys everyone. The Ivern pick, I didn't find anything on DMG, but I know that Anton over in Leo pleased Ivern as his most played champion this season. So could also be like you want to get it from him. See how was first. So I don't want to say too much about Ivern, but it's a good support champion. But I think it's better genders right now than that.
Yeah, I definitely get what you're saying. I just think that it's rare. It's rare that I see it. It's even rarer that I've like kind of seen it in pro play, right? And I feel like, yes, when it's strong, it's strong. Like I think that Ivan definitely can be very, very dangerous. Also into a Jin Zhao seems a little bit surprising to me, but we'll see how the rest of the comp resolves, right? Obviously, Aurelion Sol and Nautilus banned away. The Rakan taken out of the hands of Leo. So DMG with their final ban here, expecting it to be support ban here, but I'm still bemused as to where the Ivan's going to go, to be honest. I still feel like there's that flex of the mid lane as well.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be against the support here. Never mind, it's going to be Orianna. They saw the last game. They don't want them to get Orianna. But Aurelion Sol also getting banned. So if we just look at the bans here, first phase, a lot of AD carries going out. Now in the second, it's mid and support. And Karma's still open, but it's not something I've seen them play a lot.
It is still open. It would go well with the Pope. I would potentially like it. The Rel is an interesting one to me. I like Rel a lot as a pick. I think the Lyrax, with the way they played Alistar, would do really well on the Rel. I'm just not a massive fan of the Ezreal Rel combination. I feel like it's kind of giving like two different stories for me.
Yeah, but exactly. You have Rel with all the engage and the CC coming out. Meanwhile, we have Ezreal who just mostly want to poke in the early game. But I know that Rel is a comfort champ for Lyrax. It's one of his top 4 champions. So I guess I have to put my trust in him, that he knows what he's doing with the rest of the team. But the Ezreal pick is, as you mentioned, it's a bit of a wild card for me.
But we'll see. We'll see. You know what? Like, it may work out. It may work out. I like it so far. The Rumble, again, a lot of team fighting pressure here. They got the Equalizer. They've already got the Rel with the Magnet Storm. Those two alone, that is quite a pretty nasty team fight. And looking from the side of DMG, they're pulling together a lot of things that I wasn't expecting. Maokai going to be coming through in the support. It does work out. It is going to be pretty nice. But the Ryze as well. We saw Ryze yesterday. It didn't go the best. I'm also just a little bit surprised that Ryze is back. I didn't realize something changed.
I haven't seen Ryze in a while. But this Ryze and Maokai combination, when you use the teleport coming out, the Maokai just all of a sudden ults in the middle of the team fight, can be really strong for them. And we're gonna get Azir as the last pick here for Leo. I wanted to get something Jarvan, but Jarvan is banned, but something that creates these walls, just shutting in the enemy team in DMG, because they have the Rumble, they want to play around that ultimate. So far, I like the team they put together, but DMG have a really, like, once they go in, they tanky, and they have a lot of CC to follow it up with.
Yeah, I will say I'm a little bit surprised at Leo's composition, right? I feel like they've kind of half committed to the team fight, half committed to kind of like a disengaged poke kind of situation, which I guess works, gives them some sort of flexibility, but at the same time, it's also a little bit kind of like, are you then going to be able to work on these team fights, right? Because it does feel like DMG have kind of locked in one style of play, right? They've got the Olaf. Yes, they have the Varus who can poke from back, but they've got the Ivan to support the Olaf. They have the Ryze who has to be pretty close to do damage. They've got the Maokai who's going to be going forward. So I do feel like there's a world where maybe Leo are giving themselves the difficulty increase by the fact that their comp isn't just one thing.
Yeah, and I agree with you there. It feels like they have half the team with this team fight that they played before, but it didn't work out too well for them. So now they pick in the Ezreal and a little bit, some champion that can take a step back in case they miss their ultimates or the team fight doesn't go the way they want to still have the damage. But I don't know if Ezreal is the right pick there, because Ezreal, as I said, it's a poke champion. You want to poke before you engage, and the rest of the team is a wombo combo. On the other side, we have DMG with 2 3s in their team. That must be a good sign for them.
Yeah, they're living for the green. The economy, the ecology of the Rift world is getting better with these 2 plants. Maybe they could have even thrown a Zyra in there. You know, that could have been a bit crazy. But I'm just interested to see where this goes, right? Because now we're seeing a different look, right? DMG last game, all about the bot lane, right?
Yeah.
I think, again, there is a lot of potential for the bot lane to be played for, because obviously the Varus Maokai can give a lot of setup to the Ivan. But now in my mind, I'm like, well, you just go top, no? Because Olaf.
Always feed Olaf. That's the #1 rule I learned by watching plenty of games. But no, it's true. Olaf is going to be a huge problem here for Leo. It's just because they have so much CC that they built their team around in Leo Esports, and Olaf doesn't care if you have 2 or 10 CCs. He's just going to run through it all. And there we have this Ezreal who's still going to jump away make it on his own, not really stay with the team in the team fights, I think, because he needs to survive. And then have Olaf chasing him. It's going to force Leo to all of a sudden turn back and try to help the AD carry instead of being the front line that they engage with.
Ooh, well, we're coming close to the game. We are waiting not to press the button because, again, it's not us that presses the button.
No.
Okay? Remember that, all right? Chill out, RPS fans. But we are going to be getting into game really shortly, right? And I'm looking forward to this one. I feel like there's a lot of potential to be learned here. We talked about this yesterday with Carvis about how much people can actually gain from just one game being played and how much information you can actually get from a team. And one thing I'm really liking from DMG here is I feel like they are stepping into a different composition than what we saw before, but so are Leo. So I feel like from this, we're going to get quite a bit of info about both teams, about realistically how they kind of suit, what they like to play, how they like to play towards, because also for me, Leo looked exceptional on this Wombo combo. They don't have it in this time, so we'll see how they do. Let's get into the game. The button is being pressed. Let's get underway. DMG, Leo looking to pick up their first win.
Now we got a little bit late in the game, I wished for the invade, just open up in the big team fight, but we're not going to see it this time. So just going to keep the 5-point safe here. The question is here for the junglers, once again, like we talked in the other games, is the focus still on bot side? Because Ezreal, he just want to farm. He doesn't need to have his kills in the early game. And I think from Clemorgon, he's pretty comfortable to just take this farming side on bot side.
I feel like it's got to be top lane. I can't get it out of my head today. It's almost a Kylie Minogue moment for me, because it's a sentiment of like, we have Rumble versus the Olaf, 2 combat summoners as well, right? The Ghost and the Ignite. So for me, it's like both teams have to be setting up for top lane this side. We're even getting the invade.
Oh, that's true. Iron invade, it's pretty quick if you do it right. But as you mentioned, topside is going to be a lane that we're going to watch a little bit extra of this game, since both of these champions have the potential to go 1v9. Meanwhile, mid is already fighting for kills.
Maybe we got to watch mid, man. Like, what is this trade? This is unreal. Bjorn, though, is going to take a huge chunk of damage from Theodore and Taxvig as we see Anton moving towards their top side. They will have their red buff up. They won't have the Raptors, which I don't think they'll be too sad about, but it will give a lot of information over to DMG. And I am very interested to see the pathing, because also Taxvig, last game, all game spent bot lane, but there may not be the same potential to get onto this Leo bot lane.
No, I think, as we just talked about, top lane has the potential to be a carry, so should put some focus there. Mid lane could also be good to have at least 1 kill ahead, because Azir or Ryze going to be a big trouble if one to move.
What is going on right now? Anton realized that he can't take the red, has to leave that one. So we're now going to see Taxvig get all 3 of the camps in the top side away from Anton and force him into invading the bot side jungle. And I wonder if there's a rotation from Clem and Rutsu to really cut that out, as we are going to see Taxvig in the top side. Bjorn going to have to flash away, dodges out to the trigger seed, and will be able to get themselves to safety. But safety, I guess, is a little bit maybe of an overstatement, because now you're playing into Olaf with no flash.
Yeah, and here we have it. Bjorn is now in a position where he's still in the lead of farm, even though there's been so much around him topside. But these games where the rotation from the junglers is just thrown out the window in the first 2 minutes, it's really interesting, because this is where we get the kills on the lanes that we're not expecting it. We might get a feeder lane that we don't expect either, and the junglers, as we've seen from both of these teams in the past games, have been really, really important for them. So having them off the path could be really rough for them.
Oh, and Ealing is maybe in trouble here, going to dash into Zero. Surely this is a kill, but Zero has almost no mana. Ealing potentially looking for the kill, but doesn't manage to get there as Taxi gets caught out by Anton. Going to have to flash away. The Xin Zhao, yes, maybe off the path of jungling, but still very strong in the early game.
I think we sure are, and we see him, even though the pathing is messed up for them, they're still at the same place all the time, just fighting. So, but my question here is, do you rather have a fed Ivern for the team of DMG to help the rest of the team, or do you want the fed Xin Zhao for Leo to just carry them?
I would definitely think the fed Xin Zhao would do more. However, there's so much happening. Like, what's going on here? Ealing, why are you walking up? Theodore, no way. What is going on? Taxvig moves up into the top side. Theodore going to be able to get a kill, and that was a huge position, right? Because Bjorn had him so low, so the gank is such a flip in this lane.
Yep. macro the first 10-15 minutes of this game is not gonna exist. It's just gonna be look for kills, the jungle is gonna go in, take 1 or 2 camps, and then they have to go out again to get the counter ganks. And these are the games we like. There's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of fighting, so I don't know, objectives is gonna be really fun to see now when they spawn.
Oh, and Taxvig once again, another gank, potentially another kill, as Ealing is in big trouble here, does get the shield off, looking for the trade, will find the Ivan, but will go down as well, and Zero able to just walk this one out, although maybe I spoke too soon, as Anton gonna flash forward, will get the knock off, maybe, when becomes lightning, not gonna do enough damage, and Zero will get out.
I can't get anything else there, but once again, the junglers are at the right place at the right time. Now they just need to go for this dragon, because the dragon has been not the biggest focus so far in these games. Well, it takes longer than the usual, and the laning phase from both of these teams on all of these lanes, I think they, as I said, it's really messed up already because no one knows what's going on. There's no clear pattern what they're playing for, and the macro is just, it's moving around. We focus top side and we focus mid and then bot side. I think now when the objectives come out, if we both team just focus objectives, it's gonna even out a bit more. They're gonna go back to what they're used to play as.
I'm really happy that the bot lane came up here, because Ivan doing Dragon, I'm not going to lie, is one of the most painful things to watch in League of Legends. It is so slow, but fortunately we are going to get a bit of assistance there, and DMG will be able to pick up their first Drake. Again, an objective that they prioritized a lot in the last game, and we're going to see the trade for those growths.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, they fighting even worse.
Oh, here comes the Ragnarok. No CC, but who cares, man? There is no CC from Rumble, just damage, and Theodore stomps through the top laner. And Anton has made their way up, but I don't think they want to challenge the Viking. This Olaf is going to be a menace.
Yeah, 2-0 already. 2 out of 3 kills, and like if we look at farm, have an advantage, have the possibility to get one more kill now with Ivern.
Oh, what's Leo are chasing this? I like this from them. They have the numbers, but they cannot get into position to potentially utilize it. Zero was looking a little bit caught, but not matched. And the support from them, although actually maybe here it comes. Zero going to be knocked back, but Lyrex not able to get the knock up, and Zero walking away. The ignite is ticking, but it's not going to be enough damage. And once again, DMG's mid laner staying alive.
Getting lucky once again, but it's just fighting. Here I am trying to, all right, what are they gonna fight for? They're gonna go for these objectives, and then all of a sudden just do a 180, go up top again and fight for it. But 3-1, just 4 kills out of everything we've seen so far. I feel like that number should be a little bit higher.
Yeah. I'm surprised that Zero is still alive. I'm not going to lie, but there's a knockback, and Lyrex has gone too far. Yes, they managed to get a 1-for-1, but again... Oh, actually, no. It didn't get to Zero. It went to Rutsu.
But the kills are coming out, and we can see the junglers are almost always in the river. They either on their way to a gank or on their way from a gank, as well as now we can see the supports, the roaming are coming out a little bit earlier than we're used to, and that's because the tempo of this game is already put off. So now we need the supports, gonna do the roaming, gets a few kills to your team, and try to find a little bit of balance in all of this chaos.
Yeah, we said about top lane. Bjorn this time is in a tough position. Theodore is really far ahead, plus the wave being frozen near their tower. It is going to take quite a bit, and maybe a lot of assistance for someone from Leo to help them out there, as they're still persistent on getting onto Zero here, but once again they just walk out.
Yeah, it's they commit with a lot of people in their team, but they don't have the speed just yet. Show gonna have to use that flash to get away.
Ooh, Ezreal, definitely a very slippery champion, but can be caught. Flash going to have to be utilized here, as Bjorn now once again getting run down. No flash, immediately off cooldown, gets removed again.
Hexweek, this game was, last game was just bot lane. It was bot lane, and now we see him on the top side. Got that first kill for him. It's like, I can play
it looks like another. Here we go, Ragnarok under the tower, potentially enough damage from Bjorn. Not going to go down, actually. Will be dissuaded as Anton is moving up as well, and there is a world where Leo might look for this, as Maokai managed to get a kill in the mid lane. We'll go into that in a minute, because DMG potentially looking for something in the top side, but actually it is all just Ritsu just chasing down Lyrax. who should be able, well, I say should be able to get away, but Zero's here with the Realm Warp, and they are looking for the play. DMG are just fighting after fight after fight after fight, but they are getting a lot of success. Although Lyrax actually gets away. No way, the flash comes out and Zero will get the kill. Messy, but still, the results are going DMG's way.
But they're not done yet. The Maokai is moving up towards topside, but I feel like it's oh, they gotta commit mid.
Oh my days, Ritsu has no filter when it comes to team fights. Another one is going to buy the dust, and Theodore picks up 2, and no one goes down. DMG, they are in rage mode from their last matchup. They want to win, they want to crush down any opposition, and they are building a big lead, sorry to say, today.
Yeah, it's a disaster right now for Leo, but DMG is playing this so well. In all of this chaos, they found a little paths where they could go for, and now they're just playing around their top side. Because Theodore, 301, got his first item on Olaf. That's where they should put their money. They want to fight for top even more, but I just feel DMG is like 1 second ahead of their decisions of Leo, and that's enough to take this lead. I mean, 8-2, 2000 in the gold lead was not what I expected from the start.
But how can they clean it out, right? Because DMG obviously did lose a game where they were far ahead against Lions Creed, so it's not like they have been shown to be clinical at the moment. I do think, though, this game feeling a little bit more different, right? They're finding the team fights, they're able to get those advantages, but are they going to be able to fight for this next Drake, which is coming in 8 seconds?
I don't think they want to fight this, though. First Drake went to DMG, Leo has more players to right now, so we might see it, but at the same time, Leo should know that they're not strong enough to take this fight. Meanwhile, DMG knows they're strong enough to take every fight they can get right now. So we just have to wait and see, but there's always this need of taking the dragon as soon as it spawns. You don't want to give it 2-3 minutes. You want to beat her when it spawns, have your wards up, take full control, and we're actually going to see Leo engage it first off.
Yeah, Leo are the ones that take the lead on this, and you know what? I will say, if we're talking about power, the bot lane does feel like the most even part of the game. So I don't think that Leo are crazy in going for this, providing that top lane don't get involved. But, well, Beyond can't even get involved because they're dead, and it looks like the rest of Leo decide that enough is enough. They're going to back away and give this one over to DMG.
I'm afraid here, if it continues with a few more kills here to DMG, I think Leo will crumble a little bit since Theodore is now 401 and just destroying topside.
Oh, and here we go. Anton in the mixer. Ealing is going to try and get into the fight, but Leo, they're not really getting onto any particular target, and DMG are starting to swarm. They're looking for the kills. They've already got one, and they're looking for more. Lyrax has to run out of this fight, and Ealing is left on their own, will be picked up, and it should be a dragon secured for DMG with a couple more kills.
Yeah, this dragon is gonna go to DMG, and just look at the gold lead. All of a sudden, it's 5,000 gold ahead, and Leo, the position they're in right now, maybe.
Revenge! Revenge! Bjorn, can you do it? Theodore with the shield. Are they going to go all the way? They don't manage to get the kill. And Theodore survives.
I really thought we were going to get a kill here. I wanted this kill so badly for Bjorn, and since last game he played amazing. 0-4 now, because he got absolutely camped this game so far, but Theodore is playing this game amazingly so far, and just keeping alive in that position is, I don't know, it blows my mind.
I almost feel like he should have just kept going. I feel like there was a world where the burn kills him, and if you die there, like, okay, yeah, you die, but you get the shutdown.
Yeah, you get more than double the amount of gold that you're gonna give away, so could have committed to it, but at the same time, you don't want to give an Olaf more gold than you already have right now.
Yeah, that is true. And hey, look who's back again. Taxvig, the man who ganks only one lane a game, is here again in the top side. And you know what? I have to say, like, shout out to Taxvig on this, because it is effective. You know, if you just camp one lane, you can absolutely demolish it. And it has been looking good in both games.
Works fine so far. And the problem here for Leo is that all the kills have been on top side and mid lane, which is the biggest carry champions for them. Sure, we have the Varus on Clemorgon, but last game didn't show that side of him. This game haven't really got into it yet. So just playing, they find this kill top side, they find a kill mid lane, and they just changed it all up from the last game where it's focused bot side. Now it's just focused top and mid, top and mid.
Oh, and Leo finally have actually found a really nice fight for themselves. Zero in a bit of a trouble here. He's going to be caught by 3 members and will finally go down. Kill over to Ealing as well. And that is a nice little bit of a reprise for the side of Leo there, getting something back.
Yeah, they need to take whatever they can get right now. Even it's a tower, it's a minion, it's a jungle camp. Anything for them in the position they are right now is a big win for them. But he's not having a good time.
It's sad. It's sad to see, man. It's a League of Legends. You know, when you get behind and you're in a carry, what can you do?
Yeah, for sure, but I think DMG is playing this really well because the start was messy. They got a little bit of control. Now when they are in the lead, you can really see them just showing everyone how a macro should be played. They're just leading the dance in this game.
Zero. Just trying to stay alive. I feel like Zero has just been, like, really comfortable on the rise. I wouldn't have expected it, considering that they picked Akali in the last game. You know, I feel like Rise Akali, not the same skill set. But you know what? Zero is really proving me wrong. And there is something to be said about this Rise. You know, I was not expecting it at all in the tournament. I've seen it twice now. What are your thoughts on the champion?
Like, the champion itself, I think it has a lot of damage, it has a lot of potential, but once again, where the meta is right now, there is better choices, but how Zero has played it, right, I didn't expect this, just as you mentioned. He played an assassin where he played really well. He played that really, really good. And now coming in on a control mage, doing the same thing. Like, where is his champion pool? Does he play everything?
It is definitely one to watch, but it's a nice, refreshing moment here, getting a couple new champions, and I'm hoping that we get a few very stylistic champions, like force particular players. So we'll see if that does keep coming out through the RPS tournament. But right now, Zero trying to defend on the bot side and was caught out a little bit earlier, and is going to be receiving very similar treatment again as 3 members from Leo brace the bot side, but it will just be the tower taken and no lives lost.
Yeah, but it's some gold for them. Unfortunately, gonna lose the mid tower here as well. So 1 tower for 1 tower I still want to give it to Leo since they're so far behind, but the gold lead is still gonna stay with DMG, and with that ultimate out, they might not get that 2nd tower. Otherwise, Leo, not the best macros at the moment.
They are charging forward towards the mid. To be fair, though, benefit the doubt, or maybe giving a little bit of hopium to the Swedish fans and yourself, Bide, there is still that big question of how do we see DMG close it out, right? Because obviously we saw big team fights in that last game that really changed everything upside down. The game ended very swiftly, and it could potentially again. So I'm looking for DMG here to really show me that they can clinically close out the game.
Yeah, I think they will have an easier time, supposed to the last one. They have an assassin mid lane, Akali. She have the damage, she can take the picks, but doesn't really have this power to finish a game to the objectives or in a big team fight. Now, on the other hand, we have Rice, who's just doing damage to everyone. Meanwhile, Theodore is going to run into the backline, and he's fed. So I think they have better champions, the better lead right now to actually do what they wanted to do last game, but they failed to do it in the end. So you know how it is. If you lose the first game, the will to win the second one is a little bit stronger.
Well, here we go. DMG stepping up here. It's going to be punished a little bit by Leo, as Shao able to get quite a bit of damage off. And I am thinking about this Ezreal, right? Well, like we talked about how we weren't a massive fan of the pick. Are you still feeling similar around it? Do you feel like maybe other things could have potentially given more opportunity for Leo?
I'm actually starting to like this Ezreal more and more, how this game process, because now when they are fed on the DMD side, you need an AD carry that can actually take 1, if not 2 steps back and still do damage, which he's done so far in this game. And we see him hitting his Q all over. He have the damage, but the rest of the team is not tanky enough to tank long enough so he can get the kills with him. So I like the pick now, more than I did before in the start of the game.
Ooh, okay. I'm here for it, though. I feel like that's a pretty fair analysis, right? I think that the Ezreal can definitely dish out quite a bit from a safe range. And I will say we are starting to see Leo take some towers now. So they are starting to get a bit of gold back into their pockets, right? And I do feel like the gold lead isn't creeping up further. However, I feel like the next big team fight is going to be another quite key part of the game. However, unfortunately for DMG, they've prioritized dragons twice, and it's been the Chemtech twice.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, it's a 4,000 gold lead right now to DMG, and 3,000 of those are on Theodore on the top side. The other 1,000 gold is on their support route. So, and it's their front line. They're really tanky, and we look at Leo, haven't really got as much gold, so their front line is not as tanky. So I think now when we move into the team fight, they really need to kite this good in Leo, because they can't take the fight head on.
Equalizer getting the slow. Shao with a lot of poke maybe before the team fight could potentially open up opportunities, as Zero here quite happy pushing in that side lane. Has been in the side lane quite a lot, but been getting collapsed on often. So I do wonder if the vision game is maybe going to improve, as we are going to see the Baron finally spawning on the map. Any early Baron calls do you reckon could be made?
If we see it, it's from DMG for sure, and alright, gonna use this equalizer to get out there, but no, I think DMG could actually go for the Baron here. How far do we have for Drake? It's still 3 minutes, so now the question is more, do we want to go for Baron straight away, try to force something around it, or are we gonna wait for the Dragon to spawn to give it away to Leo, to have this 10-15 seconds of time to take the Baron down before they get there for the team fight?
Tier 2 tower seems to be what DMG is setting their sights on, but a lot of mobilization coming in from Leo around that mid and top side, so going to be able to hold off any advances from DMG for the moment. But obviously my eyes are still very much glued in on the fact that it's 2 minutes 40 before this Dragon's Soul, where I expect a lot of fighting for DMG, although actually we might get it a little bit earlier. Lyrax is going to be caught out here. This should be a dead rel in the making, although to survive a little bit longer than would have expected at first. But another pick is going to potentially open up an objective for DMG, as the Realm Warp is going up into the top. So they're actually going for a dive right now, Pide. They're looking for Bjorn. They will chase him away from the tower, and they should be able to secure the tier 2, although Anton is scrapping out for it. Doesn't want to give this one over for free, and Shao also with the resistance, but it's not going to be enough. They will claim another tower, and DMG increase their gold lead.
And here Seer just shows you how to use Ryze and his ultimate to really have an effect on the game. They're gonna take a kill in the mid lane. Everyone's gonna move up to the top side. They're gonna get this tower with them. And I think Bjorn is gonna go down once again, because he's very deep into enemy territory right now.
Yeah, it does have a lot of damage though. Obviously can half HP a member very quickly, and Clem in trouble. Will just about make it out, and Bjorn is buying so much time right now. Leo are pushing down this mid lane, but they have to be careful because Ragnarok is going to be popped, and the Olaf will actually get stopped. So 1 for 1 in the mid with the Olaf getting picked is massive for Leo.
Clemmergon is going to show that he is the sniper with the Varus, and Bjorn is going to get casted once again. But as you said before, Leo's showing some bright movements here in this game, even though they're pretty far behind. But Bjorn is gonna go down again, so somewhere, whatever gold we see Leo gets, DMG also gets it.
Very scrappy game, but it's yeah, definitely not by the book, is what I would say. As yeah, a few pretty crazy plays there. I'm surprised that Bjorn didn't try and make it out, or maybe even just try and turn for the fight. But instead does go down and gives the kill over to Rutso, so trying to take that gold away from the hands of Clem. Next Dragon though, spawning in 45 seconds, and I imagine this is where all of DMG's hopes and dreams go.
It should be, but as we see on the minimap right now, both teams are pinging for the Baron. There's no one pinging for Dragon. So, as I said, DMG, I think they're fine with giving away one Drake, skipping that soul for a Baron buff, because how far they already pushed and they already ahead in the gold. I think a Baron buff right now could be enough for them to look for finish the game. Meanwhile, Leo has to wait. They can't really engage the Dragon because they don't want to be first on it because they're behind. And the same thing goes with the Barons. Right now, they just have to wait for DMG and see what they do.
Yeah, it's a tough call for Leo. I think that Lions Creed were in a much closer position when they went for this Baron play, and I think that also DMG are going to be very aware of it, because this is the second time that this has happened to them today in very quick succession. They are much more pertinent on getting Leo away here, and they will force them back. DMG making sure that they're not going to lose Baron.
No, they don't want Leo to get it, but now we see that Theodore is going to go for a solo on the Dragon, so they're going to get this soul with them, and Leo needs to look for a fight here. But I don't know if they have the information that Theodore is doing Drake right now. So this could be very bad for Leo and very good for DMG. Could they get this soul with the Baron and a few kills with that? I think we're going to look for a game that's going to be finished pretty soon.
Yeah, Theodore picking up that Drake, going to get the fruit as well, so should be able to stay on map for a little bit longer. I think if they get a little bit of CS, we'll be able to heal up. And the Baron, as you said, is still standing. No chance for Leo to sneak that like Lions Creed earlier.
No, they have it warded very good here, and like this is what Leo needs to do. They can't really move forward doing whatever they want. They just have to get the vision to where DMG is to just be one step ahead of them. Once they see it to go to Baron, all right, let's do a plan around that. We are the one who's gonna engage the fight on them and not on Baron. And now when the dragon is down, we have 5.5 minutes before that objective. So the only objective that's up right now in neutral, well, it is the Baron. And pushing right now for the towers that's up, I think it's going to be hard for DMG without getting a few picks, and definitely impossible for Leo without getting 2 or 3 more kills.
Leo, again, keeping Xiao in this mid lane has been the consistent for them. Trying to just eke out a little bit of a potential, maybe just hoping that DMG give them an opening, a window for success, but so far hasn't been able to really occur. And I do feel like anytime Olaf is in the fight as well, it just gets 10 times harder. As DMG just using the power that is just the fact that they know that they can win a fight to force Leo into bad positions. Anton is going to be caught out here, and this should be a dead Xin Zhao, and I assume a Baron.
Yeah, this should lead to a Baron. If he can dodge this, he might get out. But the question is, are they gonna let him survive? We could see that Ealing is on his way, and Zero is gonna leave that kill. But this also opens for a Baron for DMG with their soul. And I don't think Leo can really respond to this.
Yeah, I think they're pretty far behind. There is a world where maybe an equalizer could potentially shred through a lot of the team. Obviously, we are going to see there the True Shot Barrage will spot out the Baron. It's still half HP, so still quite a bit of time left before DMG will be able to secure this objective. But Anton is making their way in, and Zero is just going to remove them immediately. Now going to play the Time Keeper, just going to hold off Leo from getting anywhere near the Baron. Yes, will go down, but it's given an opportunity now for the secure. It is going to be taken up by Taxvig, and it should mean the DMG get out. But Leo looking for a fight here. They might want to try and flip it, try and remove those Baron buffs, try and take back a lot of gold, but they're not going to get the opportunity.
Right, Leo's starting to show some damage. They just lost Baron, but you can see that the damage is starting coming out, especially for Björn, even though he's 1/6, and that shows us how strong that champion is right now. But I'm not sure how they're gonna stand against them with the Baron buff in work as well. They already struggle without the soul. They struggled even more with the soul, and now with the Baron buff, it feels just DMG is so much stronger on every single field right now.
Yeah, Leo clutching at straws here, hoping for an opportunity to come back into the game. And here it is, today. In 2 minutes 50, we have the Elder Dragon. There is a world where they could play for this, right? And obviously it was around a similar timer the Lions Creed were able to turn the game into their favor. Admittedly, they did get the Baron a little bit earlier. They were a lot closer in gold, and maybe their scaling was a little bit nicer. However, Leo, you know, the game is still on. Until the Nexus explodes, it could be anyone's.
It's for sure is, and I'm totally fine losing the first 30 minutes if we win the coin flip for Elder Dragon, because as you said, that changes so much in the game, especially for Björn, who already have the damage with the equalizer, to have this execute as well. I really, really hope they get it.
A lot of hope might be needed. Someone call the opium salesman, as we may need it. We may need it if you want Leo to win. But right now, Theodore pushing forward. Well, there's still a few more games, so you never know. You might make it. But right now, DMG, they are pushing forward. They are putting a lot of pressure with that Baron buff. I like to see this. It's clinical. It's getting the tower down, and Ealing going to have to go back to base before a fight can happen. DMG just holding Leo hostage, forcing them back into their base. 1 minute 40 before we see that dragon.
Yeah, and Theodore is just healing with all the shields. Like, he doesn't really lose any HP, but that might be a little bit too deep for them.
Hold on, here comes the Equalizer. Magnustorm also going to drag in all of DMG's members. A lot of low HP bars, but Lyrax will be the first one to fall. So first casualty is over to Leo, but DMG are forced away. A lot of low HP bars, a lot of people sub 20%. So they are just going to have to dip, and that will be Leo holding on.
I didn't think they could get anything out of that, but the Björn ultimate coming out changed the fighting a little bit, but somewhere in that, DMG still found a little loophole to dodge all of the damage and get a pick for themselves. And I see it as a very big problem here that Clemragon is starting to get these kills, because so far we've been talking about Theodore on top side, Zero in mid lane, that they have been the biggest damage dealers for their team, and now they're adding a third one in form of their AD carry. So Leo really need to find these good ultis from Illing and Bjorn, and I don't know, if they don't have their ultimates up, they should really not fight.
Well, we'll keep that one in track. As you said, Anton, Bjorn, they are still waiting for those to come out. Lyrics as well. But they are positioning forward 22 seconds. They may not get the opportunity, although I think the ult should come up just as the dragon spawns. So if they just buy a little bit of time, maybe it will all work out for them. But the Elder Dragon is starting to loom on the rift. 10 seconds now, Piddo, and it will be there.
I'm ready for this coin flip. This is all I've been waiting for all game. As soon as we saw the soul is up, alright, we're gonna see the Elder Drake. But it almost feels like they're gonna gauge before Dragon.
Equalizer gonna go down. That is gonna be a decent amount of damage onto DMG, forcing them away. But DMG still have quite a lot of ultimates at their calling. Bjorn no longer gonna have his, so the Equalizer not gonna be able to split up a big team fight. And look at where Zero is. In the back line of Leo once again, but might be getting caught here. Actually gets knocked up and cannot TP away. This could be a massive catch for Leo. If they don't lose anyone here, this could change the whole event. That's going to be a pink, and Leo might have an opportunity into this one, Pide.
I want this kill to be straight to an Elder Drake, but at the same time, look at the top side. They need to send someone home to defend that, which leaves them once again in a 4v4. But the TP is going back. They really want this Elder Drake now.
Theodore stepping forward, looking for the opportunity to go ham. Will get into Ragnarok. Will be able to take down Anton. But can they finish off this fight? Absolutely obliterates through Lyrax. And the Viking is storming through the team. A nice Trigger Seed will bring it through the Olaf. Quadra kill. Do we get a Penta? Shao is not going to allow it. We'll be running for the hills. We'll get back to base. But that is going to be the Dragon secured. And I'm surely sad to say that I think it will most likely be the game.
Yeah, unfortunately, they have once again, like last game, there's so many outs for them right now. They have the Soul, they have the Elder Drake, they just won a team fight without the Elder Drake. So from now on, Leo needs to sit in Fountain to be safe, and if you sit in Fountain, well, you're gonna lose the games anyway. So I expect DMG to do a good reset here, because they should have a good chunk of money with them. And we'll see now in the reset what item it's gonna come out. But just look at the stage of the minimap. They already pushed in on all lanes from the Leo side. And right now, DMG, I think their confidence is skyrocketing. They want to fight.
And I wonder if they're gonna try and get all the buffs. I don't know if they're gonna go for the kind of Thanos-esque gauntlet with the Baron and the Elder Dragon. But I don't think it's necessary, but they might still do it. You know, it secures the game, ensures that you will get the victory, and it looks like they are starting to path towards Baron. But actually, Taxvig is quite happy to just keep running it down mid, and I feel like the opening is there.
Yeah, like if they just get the one pick here in the jungle, they could end the game. But as you say, they could also take the safe way and take the Baron, because if they have Baron, Elder, and Soul, and Leo is how much gold? 10,000 gold behind. Like, there shouldn't be any possibility for DMG to lose those team fights.
Here we go, straight onto the tower. Inhib of the mid is going to be exposed, and it should be easily secured. And I don't really see DMG stopping here. I'm imagining this goes all the way through, and I am having a look at the map. Bjorn is on the deepest flank that I've ever seen, maybe just trying to cut off these waves. And it is opening up a potential to stop DMG, but they don't care. They're just going to go straight for the tower here. And I believe they're going to take 2 inhibs, but can they get into the Nexus towers? That's the question.
There's no waves. You see Bjorn is going to push out mid lane. Top and bot is pretty far pushed from Leo's side, so they could turn for a Baron here. That's a very good option for them. There's nothing else to pick up. They got the pressure with the inhibs down in mid and top. Take Baron, do reset, or just go straight to bot side. Have that pressure on all 3 lanes. If you don't even want to leave tiered or solo in one lane, because with pressure on all 3 lanes with a Baron buff, with the gold lead they have, I don't know how Leo should divide up to even defend that.
Well, they've managed to stop the push, right? They held out with the mid waves. They managed to summon the Azir Tower as well, and now they have caught DMG moving towards this Baron, but Zero is going to kill Bjorn, and I feel like that's the last nail in the coffin. I think this Baron will go down swiftly. DMG should then just look to end the game, but Leo, do they have one last stand? Is there an opportunity? Realm Warp into the back line. Although it is a little bit deep, Theodore, though, may just be able to run them down through this tower. although Blast Current should give them a lot of room. So actually, DMG, they just wasted a bit of time for themselves.
They wasted a lot of time there, I have to say, but the Baron is still secured for their end. We look at the minimap and we see Leo's gonna go B because they need to defend their base from the top side. Zero has his teleport up, so I think we're gonna see what I said before. Just take a reset from here, move down to bot side, let Super Minions do their work on top and mid lane. Because if you push 5 guys on the bot side with DMG, Leo has to respond with all 5 guys as well. So that just means the one lane is gonna push in, and sooner or later Leo gonna go back, and with that DMG is just gonna look for the finish. So yeah, Leo in a very, very bad spot at the moment.
Yeah, and I think that we are getting that right now. Here we go. On the bot lane, DMG are starting to walk up. Yes, they've sent Zero into the mid lane, but does have TP as well, so can join the team whenever they desire. And with the Baron buff, I imagine it's going to be quite difficult for Leo to stop. Maybe some crazy team fight could go their way, but they are items down, their gold down, 12k in total. And I feel like DMG are just slowly closing the door to getting their first win in the RPS.
I think so too, and we just, oh, they're gonna go for the engage. Can we catch someone though? Not
Aegis
really.
Blast not going to land, and Anton is still holding the fort, holding strong. Michelle needs to be careful. There's the engage, so here we go, sending the equalizer down. Do they the damage? The Olaf is trying to storm into the backline, but hasn't managed to get onto the targets just yet. Will go low to the tower, but the shield is huge, and they absolutely shred through. DMG show the power that they have, and they absolutely rip through Leo. That will be the tower, that will be the Nexus, and that will be the first win for DMG.
Very well deserved. I have to say that's a deserved win for DMG, and I hope it's the last time I see Denmark win over Sweden.
The rivalry is still strong. I will say, I have to say a lot of props to DMG. I think that DMG have looked good in both games. They looked very dangerous against Lions Creed. There was a world where one small team fight could have changed everything, and they themselves could have been the victor. So I definitely think DMG are one to watch out for. They're definitely one to have in your minds to be like, okay, they're pretty strong, and I'm looking forward to seeing more and more from this team. Leo, unfortunately, I felt like they won their same identity as what we saw against Lions Creed. I felt like they were a little bit more kind of zealous when we saw them a little bit earlier. But Pide, there's still a lot of tournaments to play. There's still a lot of time to get those wins. We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, we will get an interview from one of DMG's members. Okay, we are back and we are joined by Taxvig, DMG's jungler. And look, I got one question. I got one question for you, Taxvig, and this is all I want to know. I will ask you a later question, but for right now, I've got to ask, is the game plan for you to just gank one lane permanently?
No, not really. I mean, what do you mean? Like,
so in game one, it felt like you, against Lion's Creed, you were like bot lane, prio, right? This game, you had a lot of priority in top lane, and it's working out.
Yeah, I mean, we tend to play like very like one game we had like Cassante, what was it, Cassante Gwen, like top lane, right? I'm never going up there. It's just not happening. There's nothing to do. And then plan was just to play like through bot, like we would like we would play mid through bot, right? But I don't think we ended up playing too much in the mid lane.
All right, so I'm happy that you're here because the questions I prepared was for the jungler. So first off, is Ivern something you played in the Danish league a lot, or was this a pocket pick coming out?
Ivern, my GOAT champ. I love it. It's fun. I don't want to leak anything, but like
it's fine, you can leak.
I like to play Ivan. Not really in solo queue, but it's something I like to play a lot in comp. And we have played a lot, I think. It's definitely top 3 games I played.
Yeah, and my follow-up question on that is where Jay almost asked, but do you usually focus topside? Because in Sweden, I rarely see any focus on the top side.
We definitely tend to strong side top a lot more than other teams. I think that's just our like identity. Like our top laner, Theo, is like just insane good on in a carry position, and our bot lane is just like they don't int. So yeah, we definitely tend to play a lot topside.
All right.
Okay, fair play. Final question from me, Taxvig. Obviously, you're at the RPS. You came in as number 2 seed from the Danish league. Are you feeling pretty confident, though, about all the teams in the league, like even AUC as well?
Like, what do you mean confident? Like, if we're gonna beat them,
are you worried? Yeah. Like, you can win.
Oh, well, we can't even go to playoffs, so we can't beat AOC, right? But the ones in our group, since we have like DMG, we can't promote, right? So we can't go playoffs.
Yeah.
But but like the people in our group is like they're noobs. It's fine.
Damn! Okay, right. You heard it here first. You heard it here from Taxvig himself. 1-1, but calling the people news. We'll see how that one works out for them. But congratulations, DMG. I will say, Taxvig, I've been very impressed with your performances and very impressed with DMG in general. So looking forward to watching more of you guys play in the RPS. But for that, we are going to say goodbye. We're going to bring it to just me and Pide as we close out this show. And I believe, Pide, we may even have standings. I don't know if they're going to come up now or if we maybe see them a little bit later. But all in all, Group B has been pretty insane, right? As we see, Group A, very similar to Group B. Everyone is 1-1 except for one team. Group A, obviously Bitfix coming in at 2-0. And obviously Group B, what can we say? It's coming home. Lions Creed 2-0 themselves, Pide.
It's gonna change tomorrow. It's fine. You can have the first day. We take the rest of the days. You know, so Sweden is usually we let in 1 or 2 goals, but then we make 4 after that. So I'm fine. I'm confident.
I like it. I like the confidence, right? You know, you got back your teams, so I respect it a lot. And I do think the same as you, right? I think a lot can change in these days. I think it will be very tough for a team to go undefeated, but you know what? There is remnants that it could happen. And obviously, if we have games like this, well, we might have multiple teams in tiebreakers waiting to get themselves to playoffs. So there is a lot to play for, Pide, and people need to keep watching the stream. You need to tune in tomorrow. Like I said today, MSI's in the morning. You can watch that, and then you can tune in for the NLC RPS in your evening for your dinner. That's all I'm saying, Pide. Any final comments from you for the day?
We'll get you guys tomorrow is all I have to say.
Okay, with that being said, that is exactly the sentiment. We will see you tomorrow. We will actually be back, I believe, together once again for the final 3 games. Shout out to our producers, as always, Casual QE, and shout out to everyone organising the NLC. But for now, we're going to say goodnight, and we'll see you tomorrow.